telling us that we can't. Well, I'll show you we can. British titles, got to be capable of a British title, 14.
Didn't miss a beat then, did you?
And it's just that siege mentality. It was always a case of no one likes us, we don't care.
Being diagnosed stage 4, wasn't it? Stage 4, bowel and liver. What have you learnt about yourself during that period?
I've got to be strong. I've got to do this and be strong for everyone around me that's fighting everything else.
From being around you for over a decade now, obviously we're talking extensively now about coaching lads and taking them from one level to this level to this level to this level, but there's also an element of management, there's also a level of not just coaching them professionally, but coaching them through life in a way. Yeah. Where does that come from? Where does that nurturing need come from?
I do know in boxing, it has been said, Gallagher gets too involved and gets too emotional with the fighters. I just feel from the amateur days, you take a child aged 11, 12, 13, and we were going all around the country, whether it be Leeds, Scotland, Hereford, Worcester, and your job is to bring them home at night, safe and sound. And I feel there's still an element of that of me, regardless whether they're 21, 35 or 40, it's still someone's child. I wouldn't say I think about it, but I feel that how it must be. I think it's either in you or it isn't in you. And it isn't necessarily the number one picks that I want. I've got to have a connection with them, and then with a connection, I know the story, I know where they come from, and what to do the best for them and make life better for them and give them opportunities. Look at Macaulay McGowan the last 12 months. Look what he's done. He was with Jake Paul in Puerto Rico with Lawrence Kohler. He's just cornered the WBC #1 heavyweight champion. That's brilliant for Macaulay, a kid from Benchill that people see as a joker, but is becoming a very good coach. The same with Marcus Morrison this last 12 months. Marcus I've had from day dot as an amateur. He won national titles. He's come through as a pro career with me. He's now as a coach and he's doing bodybuilding. But they're good stories. That's what they're seeing them develop and grow as men and having families. I love it. Paul Butler getting married now and becoming a very good coach. Natasha Jonas, a great speaker, doing great work. They're great success stories as well as what they did inside the ring.
Is this why you set up the Joe Gallagher Academy? Because it's not necessarily always about professional achievement within the ring, it's about just becoming better members of society and growing. And
to have an academy for 16 to 18 year olds that you continue to box and learn how to box and get an education with it, BTEC level, it's just brilliant, because that window from 16 to 18 year olds, 16 to 19 year olds is a very difficult window.
Yeah.
They're maturing, they're getting girlfriends, they're getting jobs, social media is terrible these days, and a lot of them love boxing. So imagine it now, imagine that back in the day for all of us, to go to an academy where you've got education in the afternoon, you're boxing every morning, but you're boxing with coaches like Tony Chandler, who me and him went back years ago and was at the Solar. He's coached for England. It's like you're going on squads every morning. It's just brilliant. And then you have the education in the afternoon, and it's 4 days a week. And all the kids that have come through the academy, I'll reel some off: Marcel Braithwaite, Michael Gomez Jr., Bradley Ray, at the moment, Odell Kamara, Connor Tudsbury, Ellie Thompson. These are kids that have come
These
through
all came through the Joe Gallagher
Academy. And the academy that are absolutely now flying.
You've created several team environments as well, which the undertone for all those teams, and I might be completely wrong, and because I only dip in every now and again to the gym to watch what you're doing.
It's because you're too big now.
No.
You used to be here all the time.
It feels like you're creating underdog mentalities within the gym, if that makes sense, like you're trying to prove something to the world. Is that right?
Yeah, it's 100% right, yeah. There isn't many that have got come through the doors with we need to show these, they've written us off, do you understand? And Callum Smith, day dot, all the way through to being Ring Magazine champion, Natasha, Ring Magazine champion, Crawler became world champion. Liam Smith became world champion. Matthew Macklin should have been crowned world champion. Lawrence Okola became another world champion. Will become heavyweight world champion. So there is that. And the lad Scott Cardle won a British title. British titles, the mark. We've got to have a British title out of everyone. That's the line. They've got to be capable of a British title. 14. There's got to be a capability, and there should have been more.
Didn't miss a beat then, did you?
No. Callum Johnson.
Yes.
People weren't sold on him. Beat Buglione, had BTBF out, never finished him. They're the fine lines of a career that could have sown. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I have to look along there. Stephen Smith, very unfortunate, 2 world titles, but 2 times British champion at 2 different weights. Had some great performances, brilliant knockout over Gary Buckland. There's Marcus Morrison, do you know what I mean? Had a great away win out in Italy. There's I can't really think. Mark Heffron, underdog, written off, went down to Birmingham, banjoed him. Do you know what I mean? Banjo and put a great performances. That is us. Callum Johnson, huge underdog against Frank Buglione. Said to Callum, we'd be back in the change rooms in 3 minutes, and we were. That is me. I think I'm a huge Ferguson fan, but I think that DNA of Phil Martin, Champs Camp, stuck with me and is ingrained with me. So I do feel, when there's likes of people come here, I do feel we are. Remember that show where it was like Pimp My Car? I feel this is a boxing gym of Pimp My Ride. They come here, give them a new engine, new outlook.
Being diagnosed, stage 4, wasn't it? Stage 4, bowel and liver.
Yeah.
What have you learnt about yourself during that period?
It's hard. So I can talk about everyone else, but I can't talk about myself. I find when people ask me questions like this, Adam, I've just got to say, I just don't know what I've always tried to do. I'm not trying to be anything different. I'm not trying to do anything. I've just got up every day, just try to be the best that I can be, do the best that I can do for other people, and just try to be normal. I think when people say to me, that a lot of people, once you've gone through it, you come through the other side and you're different. I don't know how different I am. Only other people around me can tell me that, but I've always just tried to be like normal in the gym. Maybe I'm trying to take it a little bit more easy. I did get annoyed with myself not long ago because I felt I was back on the hamster wheel too quick, and it took me a while to come off it, and it took cancer to take me off it. But all the time I was still checking in, and then when I came out of the operation, I was still in here, I was still training, I was still I had cancer. And if you got to look at, I got diagnosed in November, I came and I went to London, Lawrence won, Natasha won a world title, I was in Dubai, Riyadh with Mo, we were fighting everywhere. Natasha fought Lauren Price, all the lads were fighting, Billy Dennis was fighting, Josh Holmes won the English, the career was still going, and then Lawrence fought Lorena at Wembley, and I was still in the gym and still full foot to the pedal. It was then after the operation then that was hard coming back. The operation still is a little bit, there's a lot of people say you have PTSD, things like that. And yeah, I do have emotional crashes, but during the period from November to the operation, what we'll talk about of that period of going through the 4 cycles of chemo, and having stents fitted, and then migrating, and then blockages, and then you're getting tucked in at a hospital, then you have to be worked on again, and they have a new stent fitted, and the blockages come to a point where the stent's fitted, and you're on a low residue diet, and you can only have certain foods. So you've got to look at it like a bit of chicken wire that's put in there. So anything, you can't have much meat, because for a blockage, you can't have things like vegetables, you can't have fruit because there's skin in it. You've got to look at it like a drain. Whatever you put in there, spinach, broccoli, it's got to block it. So then your food, and you start losing weight. I wouldn't say your temperament. I've never been that way because of food. But your energy levels dip a little bit. And I think I've always thought with cancer, I thought, yeah, I'll beat you. I'll do you. It was the little battles along the way of the got in, we took in at hospital, having drip again, being in hospital 5 days, putting fluid back into you. Roll over, Mr. Gallagher, knees to your chest, another bum up your finger. You're back in again, you're having a stent fitted. You're there in the hospital, you think it's wind and it's not. You've got to walk down the corridor ward, sheer embarrassment, and ask the nurse who's on shift at night, can you help me change the sheets? It was your own pride, your own ego.
Dignity.
dignity is the word, being stripped away from you, and you just think, oh my God, how's it come to this? And being so useless and so thingy, but still coming out of it and being in the gym the next day and hiding everything from everyone. My family, I'll tell you if there's something to tell you. My kids, if there's anything I'll tell you. But going to chemo on my own, there's 1 or 2 people that came on the odd thing when I went in for the operation and for these tests and that. But most of the time I wanted to do it on my own. It was my battle. And when I went into Christie's, I didn't realise how many people had a problem, but everyone's there with the partner, the husband, the wife, whoever. And I wasn't once that was, because I wanted to meet it head on and do it on my own. And I didn't want that. Are you okay? No, yeah, I'm okay. No, are you okay? I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want that because I'll break. I can't break. I've got to be strong. I've got to do this. I'll be strong for everyone around me that's fighting everything else. That's it, yeah.
What were conversations like with your kids in and around that time?
In the tearful times?
Mainly diagnosis, I think, where my head's at with it.
Well,
because that must be very difficult, a difficult conversation to have with them.
Well, it is. I think, believe it or not, the children and the family were the last to be told. My mum was told a bit, but very much, it's nothing, mum, it's just a few scans and all that, because you don't want to do her. She'd gone through a tough year the year before, she had a stroke and that, so, God, I didn't want her. I did joke to her when I did tell her, I said, the race is on to see who goes first. I know, but you got to get some humour somewhere. And she's going, oh my God. But anyway, jokes aside, twisted, isn't it? But anyway, it was, I think Curtis is at an age 28, Sophie 21, they're growing up. But I just said to them, just live your lives, just carry on like normal. If there's something to tell you, I'll tell you. They didn't come to hospital, didn't come to chemo. They just got on with their lives, and I done an update. Then I told them I'm going for an operation. I told them, like, I'm out now of theatre, come and see me. And they were like, in the 2-day bracket, I wanted to get myself, and then they came and picked me up from hospital and brought me home. And yeah, and I've never wanted them to see the dad weak. I wanted them to see the dad go through stuff. In that time, I was awarded the British Citizen Award. I was in hospital at the time.
You missed the ceremony, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. But my children went down and got it on my behalf. And that was good for them to be in a room surrounded by people who've inspired people and surrounded, and it was a very proud moment for me for them to go and get it. I was fortunate that they did it again up here for me at that, but that was good. But the kids have just gone on their lives, and I don't really speak to them much about it or anything. We had a good Christmas, we had a good New Year, and I know their understanding of it, and I know how they were. We have chats, but I just let them be them, and they're just going, it's just dad being dad and boxing, and like, just dad's back doing his boxing, so yeah.
That's kind of a nice way to transition into what I wanted to talk about, accolades, because you picked up a few in your time. You've just mentioned that one most recently, where you missed the main ceremony, but they put one up here in Manchester for you. Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year in that year that we were talking about before, in 2015.
The only British one, and Irish one.
See?
There you go.
I think you've done Boxing News Trainer of the Year twice, is that right?
3 times, just got it at Christmas, yeah.
See? What do they mean to you? Do you note them?
Yeah,
or is
100%. I feel, to touch on Ferguson and Mourinho, Klopp, yeah, I am. I feel as a coach you have to be motivated. I want to get the best out of my fighters and getting them, and you want to be recognised by your fellow peers. I feel only because, like, it's because of that, what we started at the beginning, that Moss side, DNA, no one likes us, no one's it, and I think that's it, and to be proud of that, to get the award, yeah, I'm proud, and I think of the year that I've had. I know when they said to me, Boxing News Trainer of the Year, I said, great, and it went out there. I did phone a couple of journalists and you vote and saying, listen, this isn't a pity vote, you know, because of the cancer. Let's get that fucking straight. we won 29, lost 1. Do you understand? Lawrence Okolie's done this, Natasha Jonas this, Josh Holmes done this.
What was the one lost?
Natasha Jonas. So when I say Tasha goes, yeah, thanks for reminding me, Joe, do you understand? And it's about team building and everything else. So, yeah, yeah, that's it. But yeah, no, I do like it. Is it the be-all and end-all? No. But do you feel like it, whether you're a top salesman in a job or anything else, everyone likes that pat on the back, and I don't care whether you're 35, 55 or 75, everybody likes that pat on the back. But for the time and the period I got on, but I said it today to Maurice Core, the gym's flying again, you've seen it here today. I said, God, imagine if Phil was still around. Imagine it. I said, me and Phil together, wow, no one would touch us. We'd be universally absolutely smashing everything ever. We'd have the creme of the creme. We'd have the pound for pounds. We'd have the best. There'd be no one to touch me and Phil Martin if he was still around. What Phil did in his own and what I've carried on with his legacy in here, if you amalgamated what we've done together and what we could have achieved, Phil was just still only starting, having 4 British champions, a European champion. Yeah, we've managed to carry on that legacy of Champs Camp.
Is that why you came back here?
Yeah, 100%. I've always wanted to come back here. It was our time, it was being away. And it just felt right to come back. I wanted to. The gym wasn't being used in the day. There wasn't a pro gym here. And it felt wrong not to have a pro gym here. And I wanted to come back. And I felt like, yeah, we've got to get Champs Camp back out here. It's very much like having a Cronk in Detroit and not having pro fighters, or a wild card in LA and not having a pro fighter. And it's when everyone flies into Manchester, there's 2 boxing gyms in Manchester, Champs Camp in Collyhurst and Moston, and they're the 2 gyms that have produced champions for year on and year out, and they are the 2 boxing gyms with the history, and we want to continue that. They are the wild cards and the Cronks of Detroit and LA's.
So what happens and what is achieved in this gym in 2026 to finish us off?
I think 2026 is another year of building. We've got some good prospects. There's some kids this year that have got to go through the door. But the main goal is for this gymnasium, the Apollo Gym, as I say it to Lawrence, as Lawrence Accolades becomes WBC World Heavyweight Champion, to have that out of this gymnasium and for this environment and this neighbourhood and for the kids and for where Lawrence Accolades come through, the fat, bullied kid, to become that World Heavyweight Champion WBC is a goal. To have Zelfa Barrett become a Manchester World Champion again. Do you know what I mean? He should have really picked up the torch after Quigg and Crawler. Jack Massa, another shot. Billy Dennis now to start fighting for British and European titles. Josh Holmes. There's a good fighters, Mikey Talon, to go through the door this year. Building blocks for Joe Cooper, Ewan Malone, Gary McDade, which will put this gymnasium in a position in January next year, 2027, where we have 10, 11 championship fighters, that they're all championship fighters, and we're ready to go 2027, where all 12, back in 2015, 2018, we had all championship fighters, and that's what we've got to have here, and I can't wait.
Do you think you'll ever stop?
Will they ever stop? I hope so. I don't know when. I hope things don't force me, or my health forces me not to. If it gets to a point where I feel it will, and I'll be very sad if I have to. We'll see. So, yeah.
Keep up the good work, man.
Thanks.